lifestyles are a little off right now, and we're all kind of feeling that. And so what people are doing is they're choosing to stay put and remodel their homes. But when you have to go out and search for a contractor, that can be so overwhelming. It's really hard to even figure out where to start. But one great place to start is this place called Angie's List. If you go to angieslist.com. And today, I am speaking with Angie Hicks, who is the founder and CMO of Angie's List. Angie, welcome to MommyCast.
Well, thank you, Gretchen. I appreciate that.
We're really excited to have this as a new feature on MommyCast. We're going to be talking to you regularly about home remodeling and the things that Angie's List can do for people. But first, I thought it would be really important that we have you introduce yourselves to our listeners and our viewers. So tell us a little bit about yourself. I understand that you're a mom.
And I am. I have 3 small children. They're 7, 5, and 4. So not only do I understand the challenges of finding service companies, but I also know about how you can blend that into actually having a normal life while a project is going on.
And how did you get started? That's really interesting, because I just love hearing about entrepreneurs who are moms. And I have this kind of sense in my head that maybe you were taken advantage of by a contractor back in your past, and that's what started this whole thing. But tell us about that.
The Angie's List started over 16 years ago. It's not from the problems I was having with contractors, but the problems my co-founder was having. He had recently bought a 1920s home and was having trouble finding contractors to do quality work around the house. And that's really what started Angie's List, was that desire to make that process of finding great contractors easier. A lot of times we spend time talking to our friends and neighbors about who to hire, but that can take a lot of time, and we're busy, trying to take care of our families. And the last thing we really want to think about is which plumber to hire. So we created Angie's List to make getting that information a lot easier. And this is really what has driven the business since we started 16 years ago. So as far as finding, great companies, that's the purpose of the list, is to be able to connect great companies with consumers, whether they be, small mom and pop type companies, individual handymen, all the way up to some of the biggest companies in town. But the great thing is it's all based on really the quality of the service the company provides, and allows them to all compete on an even playing field.
Tell me, in your opinion, what's the difference between a good contractor and a bad contractor?
Well, I think when you're thinking about evaluating the contractor, you need to make sure you're doing your own independent evaluation. It's one thing to listen to what the contractor pitches to you and understanding what they can provide, but then also go and make sure that's actually what they deliver on. And that's where Angie's List can come into play, because we basically will give you the unbiased reference list. You can see the customers, whether it be the good or the bad, regardless of what the company would actually pass along to you. And likely their reference list is going to be all the good customers.
So when somebody is looking for a contractor and they want to use your list, how do they get started?
Well, first you want to do your homework, research the companies. For example, on Angie's List, we have all kinds of information, in-depth information on companies about what types of services they provide, what are tips for working with them, and what consumers really liked or didn't like about working with the companies. Once you have that kind of information, then you're ready for the interview. Interview the company. Talk to them about things that are important to you, like, what the schedule is going to be like when they're there at your house. Are they going to be able to help you set up alternatives for your family if they're doing a kitchen remodel, for example, so that you have a place to have dinner in the house? And also, are they listening to you about what you like? Are they following your lead on the pictures you might have selected for your kitchen remodel? And most importantly, are they thinking about budget? You don't want someone that comes in and really pushes you to stretch beyond your budget, because then you're likely going to make it a much more stressful situation, because if you're spending more money than you want, the project's going to be much more difficult.
And how are people reporting this to your website? I mean, do companies pay to have their names on your website, or is this just completely driven by the people who hire these people?
Companies don't pay to be on Angie's List. The only way companies are rated on Angie's List is when a consumer gives a review on the company, and it doesn't cost the company anything to be on the list. They just have to provide good service. And as long as they're providing good service, they're going to continue to be recommended to other consumers.
And I understand that you have a call-in service. Tell me a little bit about that. How does that work?
We still have a call-in service today, and you can actually call in, talk to a real human being, and they'll check the list for you. And I think it's an important part of the process because sometimes we all get so frazzled. The water heater's leaking all over the floor, for example. We may not want to hop online and do our research. We might just want to pick up the phone and ask someone for help.
You also have a magazine, and I think that's really fascinating. And one of the things that I love about it is that you have some how-to-do projects in there and some wonderful tips and hints on how to go through some of these processes when you're remodeling your home. Tell me a little bit more about your magazine and how people can find it.
Well, we've always had the magazine as part of our service, and we really view that as an important part because it's a real great education tool for the consumers. We do research and highlight trends and investigations in the local service space that you're not going to find anywhere else, and that comes to your house each month in the mail.
I have to say that we've had our share of not so great contractors, and I'm really excited that you've become such a social media sensation because now people really have that platform to share their opinions about some of these people. Obviously there are good ones and it's nice to share our opinions about them too, but I kind of keep the good ones more of a secret because I don't want them to become too busy for me.
Well, it's kind of funny. I mean, if you think about it, Angie's List started 16 years ago. I mean, it was almost predates the internet. So in many ways, kind of being in this world of kind of a service that's very popular on the internet as far as people thinking about hiring local service companies, we hadn't really conceived that part of the business when we started. We were a call-in service and a magazine, and consumers would call to find out what plumbers to use. So the chatter in the environment and the social interaction that's occurred because of the site has just been wonderful, but it wasn't necessarily something we thought was going to be there when we first started.
Angie, thank you so much for joining us today on MommyCast, and I look forward to speaking with you again.
Gretchen, we're looking forward to providing MommyCast with more tips and information in regard to local home service.
For more on Angie's List, you can go to mommycast.com, or of course you can go to angieslist.com. Hi there, thanks for watching. And if you want to talk to us some more, you can find us on Facebook, facebook.com/mommycast.